Welcome back, everyone, to the
I love it.
Review.
I love it.
The one and only place to get Dodgers talk every day at 9:30 to 9:55. You know how we do here on the Blue Review. Welcome, Marcus Grant. I just got to say, what a dope background you got today.
That's a really cool background.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm in our VO booth here at NFL. I think we call it NFL West, I think is the actual name of it. Whatever it is. But I'm in the VO booth. It's got a nice, obviously, the shield back here behind me and everything.
Yeah, and then Greg, welcome back. This was your birthday weekend. I know it was a huge series win, so happy birthday to you. How was the birthday weekend? Did you have a good time? I know you got to spend some time over at Terranea.
Yeah, you got to spend some time at Terranea too.
That's right.
Don't lose that. But yeah, it was amazing. Every single night was something different, and it was just a perfect weekend. I was very, very happy with that weekend.
I love that. Listen, we all had great weekends. I hope the chat had great weekends. But we got to get into Dodgers baseball because there's a lot to react to. So before
just a couple things,
you know, before we do, everyone, you all know here at the Blue Review, we're presented by the Los Angeles International Airport. Our friends over there at LAX. I didn't forget. I just stumbled. They're reducing traffic, saving guests time, and transforming the travel experience. So if you want to learn more, check it out at flylax.com/transforminglax. So let's just get right into this, guys. Initial thoughts on the series win. We got a 5-game lead now in the NL West. Greg, I'll start with you. Just how are we feeling about where we're at right now as a Dodgers fan?
I feel great about where we are. This was we talked about a ton of times, Marcus, that this was a huge, huge week for the Dodgers. Having to play 7 games against the Orioles and the Diamondbacks and to come away winning 5 of those 7 games is absolutely massive to me. And the fact of the matter is when they won, they took 3 of 4 from the Diamondbacks, who, by the way, that won the season series for the Dodgers. So that 6-game lead over the Diamondbacks is actually a 7-game lead in all intents and purposes. So it was just an amazing weekend for Dodger Blue. I thought they did everything they needed to, and you found ways to get around it. And they used the bullpen so sparingly, even after that game for Kershaw, which I'm sure we'll get into Kershaw at some point. But the fact that he only went 1 and they still were able to save their bullpen in multiple games. Thank you, Justin Robleski. Like it was just a strong, strong weekend overall for the Dodgers.
Oh, 100%. No, yeah, everything went about as well as you could have imagined, right? Winning 3 of 4 in Arizona, as you mentioned, the bullpen, getting some rest, but then able to pull through when they needed them to. The offense came alive in 3 of those 4 games, and it was everybody, right? I mean, obviously, yesterday you saw the guys at the top of the order with, Shohei, Freddie, Mookie, Teoscar, doing their thing, but guys at the bottom of the lineup, Chris Taylor starting rallies, Kike Hernandez driving in runs. Look, Will Smith, who has been on the struggle bus for pretty much since the All-Star break, 5 hits over the course of the weekend. So the offense came alive. The pitching, came up big in big spots for this team. And to walk out of there with a 5-game lead, 6 over the Diamondbacks, 5 over the Padres. With the schedule coming up, I know there's still some tough spots there, right? The Braves are coming in, the Guardians are coming in, so those aren't going to be easy series. But to sort of have that leeway with the Diamondbacks and Padres also cooling off a little bit, it feels great heading into this last month.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking about it. That the schedule does lighten up, even though you have 3 big series. You have the Guardians, like you mentioned, you have the Braves, and you have the Padres, but that's all in between easier series because they have Anaheim, then Chicago, and then they have the Rockies twice. So to finish out this year, it kind of goes tough, easy series, tough series, easy series, tough series. Now they have to win those easy series, but the fact of the matter is they have some rest, and everybody is all just coming in at the exact right time. I know this is like silly to say because duh, obviously, but Mookie Betts makes this lineup so much better. I get that he's an MVP. It just you have so many guys at the top of Mookie Betts being in that 2 spot. He just comes through in big moments time and time again. I get who he is, that he's one of the best players in baseball, but you missed him so much when he was gone. Like you just look at the run total, like when he was gone and when he was here, how the 2-out RBIs, everything just rose when he came back to now you're getting 6 to 10 runs a game instead of 3, 4, 5 runs. Like it really changed everything. And the 2-out RBIs have been amazing since he got back.
the 2-out RBIs, I'll say the 2-strike hits up and down the lineup. I mean, guys are really locking in. And to the point that, look, the last couple of days, we didn't see Max Muncy in the lineup, right? But you had Kike playing in there. You had Chris Taylor playing in there and still figuring out ways to drive in runs. But to your point about Mookie, not only does he mean a lot to this lineup, but the fact that he has moved into the number 2 spot and it has been seamless, leaving Shohei in a leadoff spot. And there's so much pressure on an opposing pitcher and opposing defense when you've got Shohei followed by Mookie, followed by Freddie, followed by Teoscar, and if Will Smith is starting to come back to life again, it just, we've talked about it before. It gives the lineup so much length right now that, it was great. I can't remember who tweeted it, but that first game of the series on Friday, the lineup came out and somebody said, this is a playoff lineup. And you looked up and down and it was, because you had the 3 MVPs, you had Teoscar, you had Muncy, you had Rojas in there hitting at the bottom of the lineup. I mean, it did feel like the lineup you want to see when the playoffs start.
Yeah, you're right. This lineup is so long, and really, Tommy Edman really makes a huge difference in that lineup. Like having him either in the 9 spot or 8 spot, it just lengthens it so much more. He plays good defense. He plays 2 major positions too. He plays center and short, and to have him coming in and just getting hit after hit after hit, it's really makes this whole lineup so different. You can't really slow down at any point if you're a starting pitcher. And when you see good pitchers, it's got to be really, really difficult to be able to get through all of that. It's pretty intense what's going on. I do want to get just right back into that Mookie portion of just for a second. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine having that guy in your second spot, because if Shohei gets on, he's stealing every base that he finds at this point. Yes. And especially against a lefty, if he gets a second, he's automatically getting to third because now he's behind you. So you can't, that's almost an easy option for him to go to third. And so you have to throw good pitches to Mookie because you're so worried about what's going on the base paths with Shohei. It's kind of incredible to watch.
It is really amazing to watch. And now he's at a point where his stolen bases are outpacing his home runs. As he continues on that quest for 45-45 for sure, but maybe even 50-50. He really has become the ultimate weapon. And I guess I should go back to my take from back in June, where me sitting here I don't love Shohei in the leadoff spot. I don't think it's gonna work out. I
didn't even want to bring it up. I was gonna let it go. But
here's the thing, I'm willing to wear it again, because he has been everything here's the thing. I grew up watching the A's in the Bay Area during the heyday of Ricky Henderson. And even though stylistically they are 2 different players, Shohei creates the same level of havoc that Ricky did. He's got more power, but I think Ricky has the all-time record for leadoff home runs in a career. But Shohei's got the power. Now he's stealing bases as well. He's just on a good way for Dodger fans. He's a menace when he gets on the base paths, because you have to watch out for him. The guys behind him can drive him in. It is just phenomenal to sort of watch what he's been able to do. And I know you said at this point you don't even question the ridiculous things he does. I still marvel at what he's able to do on a daily basis.
No, I know. It's just because anything that he does, you're like, okay, makes sense. He can do it. It really doesn't matter. Everything he does, it's amazing. But at some point, really, it's because he's going back down to Angel Stadium tonight, the Big A, for the first time in a regular season game since he's left there. I just feel like he got so lost in there. And even if how amazing he was he was obviously a 2-way star. He was an MVP. He was the best player in the game. But he just seems so much bigger than life now that he's with the Dodgers, and opposed to when he was with a terrible team that had no chance of making the playoffs by June in Anaheim. It's just kind of amazing. That article came out the other day. I think it was Dylan Hernandez that was talking to him about that the Angels didn't even make an offer to him. It just boggles my mind how they just let that all just slip right away. What do you think the reception is going to be down there tonight?
I think it'll be mixed. I think there will be more cheers than boos. I think there's going to be some folks who are definitely frustrated, but I think a lot of people will understand what the situation was, how the organization didn't really pursue him and what he gave the organization for those 7 years he was down there. So I think there's going to be more appreciation than anger or frustration. Also, There's gonna be a lot of Dodger fans in the house, so I think that's gonna
Lots of it.
That's gonna have a lot to do with it too. There's gonna be a lot of folks in blue that are certainly gonna cheer for Shohei.
Yeah, I think it's Ruben Flores said Pantone helped set the second best at 10. Oh, okay, so they're throwing a party at the Big A, so that looks like it's night. Oh, Denny Cortez put that up, so thank you. By the way, Parker, jump on here for a second. You, as the resident Angel fan and really the only Angel fan left in anywhere, you're wearing the Dodger hat. What do you think the reception is going to be for? Because you actually are, as an Angel fan, love Shohei, love the Dodgers now. What do you think that reception is going to be like?
Well, listen, I know Sam Bloom put up an article earlier this morning saying it needs to be a good reaction, a good reception. They should stand up and applaud that man. I know we already had an awkward preseason moment where they gave him the video. Why did they do that? I don't know. But what they should do, of course, as a team, is put out that video, say thank you for your years of service, and just for giving us basically all the views that, like, that nobody will be watching the Angels if it wasn't for Shohei. So for me, if I'm able to get out there, I request credentials. But if I'm able to get out there, I'm definitely going to soak in the moment of just seeing him. Like, this is where I started my career, and this is somebody who took a chance on me. And you got to be appreciative if you're an Angels fan. Here's what I'll say right now: if you're an Angels fan and you boo that man, I mean, just get out of the stadium. Just leave. you don't deserve to be
That's
going
one
to the
way to
game
put
if
it.
you're going to be booing Ohtani.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting what happens tonight. But, I mean, it's going back over this weekend. You saw 4 different pitching matchups over the weekend. And really the offense was the story of the entire series, Marcus. But you had Kershaw, who obviously could only get through one and now is in a walking boot and back on the IL. Gavin Stone was kind of, iffy. Wasn't Gavin's best outing, but they were still able to get through it. Justin Robeski absolutely wore it on Sunday. That was totally
he deserves a medal for that. I mean, he really does, because at some point when it started to unravel in that second inning, I think everybody watching is just like, he's just gonna have to wear it today. Like, the bullpen is absolutely cooked. There's no way that they can cobble together, another 7-8 innings from the bullpen, and so you just sort of realize, like, yeah, he's gonna have to wear it, and especially after Roberts pulled the starters, when Freddie and Mookie and Teoscar sat after that second inning, you just sort of knew that this is going to be on you to try and go as long as you can and try and save that bullpen as much as possible. And so, nobody wants to be in that position. Nobody wants to stand out there and give up 10 runs and just get lit up. But he really did the team a solid. Like, that was being a team player. And so he got sent back down to AAA, but I mean, I think he deserves all the praise that we can muster for him, because he absolutely, what he did on Sunday helped that team win on Monday, without a doubt.
100% absolutely did, and they were able to save their bullpen. And then Jack Flaherty did have a good outing. He couldn't get to through the 6th inning, but he still got very, very close. So you saw all those different pitching matchups. So what do you think about the starting rotation over the weekend for all those different guys?
It was good enough, right? And yeah. I think that's all you could ask, especially against the team that scores as much as the Diamondbacks do. I mean, those guys hit. They generate offense in any number of ways. It also, considering the weirdness of those games, right? I mean, Friday night goes back and forth. Saturday, the Dodgers start by hitting 3 home runs to open the game, and then Corbin Carroll hits an inside the park home run.
Yeah, God, that was so frustrating.
I mean, it was the weirdest series I could ever really imagine. And so really basically just for the starting pitching for the most part to hold it down, to give them a chance to win, and the bullpen guys to come in and sort of close things out. I know we sort of white knuckled it through Friday, watching a 10-5 lead turn into a 10-9 win. But that's why you have a 5-run cushion, right? That's like you to use the whole thing. So, this is not going to go down in the Dodger Hall of Fame for greatest starting rotation performances, but when they needed it to, it was good enough.
Yeah, exactly. And they got through what they need to. The offense really stepped up, so it was all about this offense. But if you actually look at what the bullpen did this weekend, they obviously got blown up on Friday. But after that, it was a lot of Brett Honeywell, and it was a lot of, they did throw Brazier a little bit, but Vezia a little bit, but you didn't see Michael Kopech anymore. You didn't see, so Kopech is now fully rested. You have a lot of guys that you didn't get into. Ben Kasperius got in there a little bit.
Yeah.
You got, Bonda did pitch more. They brought him down a little bit, but they didn't actually use up all of their bullpen guys and still got through the series. And that kind of makes you feel a little bit better because they were getting thrown all over the place.
Yeah.
So to save the bullpen the way that they did for this whole weekend, I'm going to say something really nice about Dave Roberts right now. So if you want something, he managed the bullpen extremely well. It was very, very well done what he did there this weekend.
No, 100%. And even obviously being able to have the whole bullpen pretty much available to you on Sunday, but even then sort of using it sparingly. I mean, it definitely helped with the Dodgers scoring a bunch of runs late to kind of open things up. You didn't have to have a whole lot of high stress innings, but you bring in Vestia, he throws to one hitter, so he's still very much available to you. Bonda and Brazier had a little bit of stress there, but you can put them down for a day if you need to get an inning out of Peterson, to get an inning out of Honeywell, that you didn't have to use Kopech or Phillips or Hudson or Trinan or any of those guys yesterday. It does go a long way for the next, certainly the next couple of nights, but even more importantly, when Cleveland comes to town for the weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be the bigger of the series. And obviously tonight you do go down to Anaheim. Walker Buehler. He is the starting pitcher tonight. What are you expecting out of him? Because he was good. He was good in his last outing. So
he was good. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that he can kind of put something together again. He gets the benefit of facing a lineup that isn't going to be as taxing as some of the lineups he's faced recently. So if he can sort of tap into what he found in that last start, if he can kind of mix up, change speeds, mix up his pitches, get the breaking ball working again, especially, I think he can come out and give them a good start. And again, the standard right now for Dodger pitching, I know this seems sort of gross to say, but right now it's 5. Get through 5 and see if the bullpen can take you the rest of the way. If you can get through 6, then that is a bonus. So I feel confident after what I saw from him last time that he can put together a solid 5 innings against a lineup that really is struggling to consistently score.
Yes, if this is a big outing for him, because this is one that he can maybe get through 6, because he probably would have gotten to 6 in the last outing if they didn't have all that trouble in the second inning, where Will Smith decided not to throw the ball at first. Max Muncy had that have the error. There was just so many little issues that went for him that kind of threw him for a loop that he just wasn't able to get through. But this is a big outing for him, and to really show that, okay, I pitched well against a really good team in the Orioles. Now we have a really bad team in the Angels. I have to show what I can do and what I can do moving forward, because this whole thing has always been, okay, now you're going to get another start. Obviously, he's going to get a little bit more because of Kershaw going on the IL, but this is a spot for him to really show what he can do moving forward and down through coming into the playoffs.
No, 100%. And it just is so frustrating, right? Because it seems like every time the Dodgers are getting close to putting together a solid, healthy rotation, something else happens, right? I mean, we were hoping that maybe Kershaw was turning a corner. Now he's got the toe issue. It's going to keep him out for who knows how long. I mean, Yamamoto is hopefully on the way back. We'll see it. It seems like Glasnow is progressing, but it just feels like every time it feels like the Dodgers are putting something together, something else happens. So, fingers crossed that Brusdar Graterol is able to come back later this week and stay healthy again. Fingers crossed that Yamamoto gets back into form from what we saw earlier in the season, and he can stay healthy through the rest of the season. It's just they've been so snake bit this year.
Yeah, over and over again. Hopefully everything, knock on wood, I don't have any wood in this room, but everybody on the offensive side stays healthy. But, I mean, what do you think? I just don't know what to make of Glasnow right now. It seemed like, okay, they're just putting him on the IL. They're just giving him some time off. It's a fake IL, and now he's being down for a little bit longer than it was. He's not sure if he's going to come back this year. And then Dave said, oh, we hope that he's going to be back this year. And then Glasnow says, I'm going to be back this year. I just don't know what to make out of him and all these little reports that mean nothing.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, when I read them, I try to take away things like, look, he's out playing catch at 120 feet right now. They're hoping to get him back on a mound really, really soon. So, I sort of take that as signs of progress. I think at this point, listening to the hopes and dreams of all the players involved seems a little bit pointless, right? Like Dave Roberts and what he hopes or expects. We know how that's worked out this year. Obviously, we know Glasnow himself wants to pitch. I mean, if the story was true, he wanted to pitch the last time around, and Roberts shut him down just out of a sense of prudence. So I don't know that we can put any stock into that, but just the physical of him throwing and, reports that he's feeling good and that they're going to progress the program. I think that's more of what we hold our hat on. The timeline for that, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what it's going to be. So hopefully, because if he comes back and this is just giving him some rest so he can be at his best when he gets to the postseason, it kind of is smart in that sense to be also what they're doing. And now Yamamoto is probably going to start tonight or tomorrow.
Tonight, I believe.
Tonight. Yeah. That's just going to be a second rehab start. And the hope is that it's his last rehab start. So we could be seeing by this weekend against the Guardians or next week that it's Yamamoto's back in this rotation. That is a huge, huge, huge pickup because he means so much to this team.
Absolutely. I mean, so right now, like, provided he's able to come back, right, that gives you a front line of Yamamoto, Flaherty, and Stone. We'll see what we make of Bobby Miller and Walker Buehler down the stretch. I mean, I'm sort of looking at trying to count games, right? Like, depending on what the timeline is for Glasnow, he maybe gets one start in the regular season if he can come back soon. I mean, I'm looking at Yamamoto. I mean, you're looking at maybe 2 starts left in the regular season before we get to the playoffs. I mean, like, it would be nice to get these guys a tune-up before just throwing them into the fire of the playoffs. But, the clock is ticking. That just may not be possible.
Yeah, no, I know. It's as long as you can if you can get 2 starts for Yamamoto, I'll feel good. And maybe if you can find a way to get 3, and I don't know if they'll actually have that time because he goes on that 6-day. Yeah. That 6-day track. So that's 12 days. I mean, there's not a lot of time left, especially if he doesn't come back till, the 9th or 10th. So not a lot of time. Glasnow has to do a rehab start for it. It's very difficult to kind of play this all out. But if you can get those 2 guys back for the playoff run, it makes such a massive difference. And it really shows you how deep this team could very much be because both those guys can go deep, deep, deep into games and save your bullpen. And then if you can go 6-7 innings with those guys, you only have to use a couple of relievers. And if this team is hitting like it is, that's the biggest thing for me is if this team is hitting leading into the playoffs.
Yeah, no, the offense has come to life. It's been great. I mean, Max Muncy jumped right back in like he never left. And seeing, obviously we know what the guys at the top can do. And look, I know people were frustrated about Chris Taylor being, staying on the roster and seeing Jason Hayward go, but let's keep it real. Taylor's hitting the ball right now. We know he gives them positional flexibility in the field. He is generating offense at the bottom of the lineup. So, I mean, I know we all miss Hayward. We miss that left-handed bat in the lineup, but right now Chris Taylor is earning his spot here.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is. He's like 5 for his last 11, and he was actually hitting before he went on the IL. So the fact that he went on the IL, came back, and is still hitting, huge for this team.
And this isn't very likely. It's, in fact, maybe not going to happen, but there is a small chance. Dalton Rushton's been playing very well in OKC, and he is a left-handed bat. And, just going to throw that out there.
He would probably play in the outfield too. They have him playing in, I think, left field down there too.
Playing left all his professional games since he went up were in left field as well. So that would be really cool. But hey, great episode, guys. I was happy I was able to kind of push out some tweets. We had a lot of people in the chat today. So it was a huge reaction Tuesday. Everybody back from their weekend, their Labor Day weekend. So we appreciate you being in. We want you to stay here on the chat in YouTube all day at ESPN LA. So be here or be square. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Marcus, for being here. Thank you, Greg. Greg, I'll let you close us out. Just thank you to LAX. But I just want to say on behalf of myself, this was a good one.
Yes, it very much was. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Parker. But yeah, please be here every single day, 9:30, 9:55, especially now. We're ramping up for the playoffs, so this is the place you want to be. And just a reminder, next Monday is when we move to 8:30 a.m. So that's all coming up soon. So we last week of 9:30 in the morning, and I think it's going to, yep, we're all going to be a little bit tired, but this is the first place to actually get some Dodgers talk. Now, stay tuned. It's time for Travis and Sliwa, and they have a very, very special episode. A lot of stuff going on. So please stay right here for Travis and Sliwa, and we'll see you tomorrow.
There it is.